is Wednesday, April 30th. Last day of April. Unbelievably, it's we're already here. We're in May. And Kevin is first. What's up, Kevin? How's it going? Hopefully you guys if you've started your rookie drafts. I'm curious how many people their rookie drafts have already started. Because I've had a couple that are underway. One that started Sunday after the NFL draft, another one that started today, I believe. And then in our listener leagues, we're trying to figure all that out. But curious to see how many people are actually doing rookie drafts already. And if you're doing slow drafts or live drafts, but let me know. We are doing some rookie mocks here, one or two. We'll see. Depends on how many people we're going to get, but go ahead and join. If you're interested, join the rookie mock. And we'll see how many people we can get. Not sure if we're going to fill it up, but we will see how many people we can get. And yeah, we have some rookie mocks underway. Here's one of my leagues here. I'll show you one of my leagues here. So this is a Superflex 12-team start 10. There's a tight end premium, but you don't have to start tight ends. So that kind of makes it valuable, kind of not. And then there's a pretty heavy favor towards RB scoring in this league. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like the running backs are way more valuable in this league. So this is how the first round has basically gone here. And yeah, I had the 103, the 105, the 106, and the 112 in this draft. I kind of punted in the startup to collect all these picks. I also had the 206, I believe it was, or the 208, maybe. No, it was the 206. And then someone offered me the 101 for the 103, Chase Brown, and my 206. And I actually went ahead and took that. So it's a 12-team start 10. And so, depth isn't super important. It's obviously always important, but not as important as like a 12-team start 12. And I think getting Genty in this league, because again, the running back scoring is pretty insane in this league. Like wide receiver 2 last year, according to WAR, wins above replacement, was equivalent to RB9 or RB12. RB12, yeah, closer to RB12. RB24 was more valuable than wide receiver 11 or 12. So I think Genty could absolutely smash in this league. And then I ended up getting Cam Ward, which is probably who I would have taken at the 103. Got Travion Henderson, and now I'm on the clock seeing if I can do a trade here or not. But if not, I'm probably going to go ahead and grab Tyler Warren there. So, but yeah, if anyone's interested in joining a Dynasty rookie mock draft, that's what we're doing here. Let me share the screen here. Only have 2 people in there, so if we can get, I don't know, 3-4 people. I know it's going to be a little bit lighter today. It's we're starting a little bit earlier than we normally do, and looks like we have. I'm not sure if you're here or not, but anyways, go ahead and join on up if you are interested. Anyways, how's everyone doing out there? James, how's it going? Hopefully everyone's doing well on this last day of April. If you live somewhere not in the US, then tomorrow is most likely a holiday for you, because it's Labor Day basically all around the world except for like US and Australia and Canada. Yeah, go ahead and hop in. The link is right here. And we'll get you in there. We will get you in there. My father's here, but I don't see him. I just see a black screen, so something's going on here with his camera or something like that. But yeah, anyways, hopefully everyone's doing well. Let me know if you guys are underway. Have you guys started your rookie drafts? Any rookie drafts that you guys have started? So let me know. I'm waiting for Alex. You're in here. Good to know. James, you're in here. Hopefully you are. But yeah, we'll give it a few more minutes before we hop in. So a lot of interesting stuff going around with draft picks and things like that. I put out a rookie sleeper. You're in there, yeah. You're in there. There we go. Now you're here. Couldn't see you there for a second. But yeah, so let's see. Alex says he one completed post draft, did two prior to the draft. Interesting. Do you prefer Alex post or pre NFL draft? Because I definitely prefer post NFL draft, but I think it would be interesting to do one or two pre NFL draft. Yeah. But anyways, I put out a rookie sleeper video, so you guys should go check that out. Go check that out. Indeed, James is in the 7 spot, very volatile, but nice to mix in a few. Yeah. If you play in enough leagues, I think it's nice to do things differently, right? You don't have to always do them the same. But so I would guess that where did Shedeur Sanders go, Alex, in those pre NFL draft rookie drafts? I mean, depending on when you did it, he could have been really high. Like back in February, we were thinking the guy was in contention to be the number 1 overall pick, and he doesn't go to the 5th round.
That's the media.
Got steals like Harvey in the 3rd. Yeah. Some guy drafted Sanders at the 106.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh, that was before, huh?
Pre-NFL draft, sure. Yeah. But then you get RJ Harvey in the 3rd round, right? And now he's going. I'm doing I'll share the screen here. I'm doing a rookie draft right now, and RJ Harvey just went at the 109. So, again, running back scoring is a little bit inflated in this league. I don't know if the league members realize it, but it is inflated. So, yeah, that's you can get bargains like that. Daniel says he landed Genty, Hampton, Ibuka, Golden, and Dart so far in my Superflex. I mean, getting Jackson Dart at the 203 is pretty damn nice, in my opinion.
That's pretty good.
I think that's just people's priors influencing that a little bit. Like guy's a 1st-round pick at the quarterback position, you got to take it. So,
wow, that's a pretty good. That could be a really productive team. Maybe not totally this year, but
Yeah. Sanders at the 106 is rough for that manager. It's tough though, because like you just don't know what to believe. Like honestly, outside of like the top 10-ish guys, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen in the draft. Although we were talking about this, I don't know if we've ever seen a situation where a guy was consistently mocked in the top 10 all offseason, fall to the 5th round. That's kind of crazy. But hey, it happens. It happens. But yeah, if anyone else wants to join, we're going to start this up in just a couple of minutes. So we still got some spots open. We'll go 3 more minutes and then we'll start it up. Daniel says he already has Neighbors and Bowers on this squad. Lawrence is the other quarterback. Yeah. So you have Lawrence and Dart are your 2 quarterbacks, or do you have another quarterback in there? So let me know there.
I don't think Dart is going to play this year. I mean, unless the wheels come totally off the Giants, and then it's kind of bad for him to play. But, for fantasy purposes, I want to say we don't care. We just want the guy to play. But
yeah,
unless something happens to Russ or Jameis, or we don't even know. We don't even know if both of them. If Jameis is somebody's gonna get cut from that team.
Yeah, I got to make this a linear draft here. Make this a linear draft. I don't know. I think there's a pretty good chance that he does play, because I think we think this all the time, And then it comes down to it, like when you get there, and it's like, yeah, just put the guy in. Like, I don't know. We're talking about Russell Wilson here. Like, we're not talking about prime Peyton Manning that he's behind or something. So,
the
but
Hall
yeah,
of
we'll
Famer
see.
Russell Wilson.
I mean, he was kind of on that path, right? Early on.
Yeah.
We're going to get this bad boy started up. I'll make the picks because the auto picks will be a little bit all over the place because the ADP is not really caught up to the draft and stuff. So, do you think he's could still be a Hall of Famer?
I don't know. You win a Super Bowl. It'll be interesting. The Eli Manning one is the one I think is interesting. Two-time Super Bowl winner. Yeah, I think he's going, but and Russ was right there, so it's kind of hard to.
This is Superflex, by the way. I always forget to say the actual thing. 12-team Superflex, PPR. We'll do a 1.25 tight end premium. Sorry about that. I should have mentioned that earlier, but no one's picked yet. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Super Bowl argument's a little dumb, to be honest. So, because it's a team thing, it's not just a quarterback thing. So, I don't know. Like Eli Manning, was he ever a top 10 quarterback like during his career in the NFL?
No, he was not even. It was very. He was barely fantasy relevant, you know.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of Dynasty back in his days, or maybe it was kind of early on, so you didn't need a couple quarterbacks. So if you were in a 12-man league, you got your top 12 quarterbacks. Everybody else was kind of garbage,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he has I think he has does his win-loss record? I know it's 118 and 118. Obviously, that's a team thing. I mean, he has good counting stats, but that's just the nature of the time he played in. So, David, you are on the clock, and you might get auto-picked here. But I'll go ahead and give you a couple 30 seconds before we actually make the pick here. But yeah, we're on a little bit earlier than we normally are, so I know it's a little bit quieter than normal. Already have Neighbors and Bowers. Okay, so he has Trey Lance, Derek Carr, Minshew. Yeah, not great. It's not great. I would try to. You have Dart and Neighbors stack to look forward to. I don't think it's crazy to think that that Dart could play this year, but yeah, I don't. I think he is going to sit at least for the first 6 games or so. And if they win, then they're definitely just going to keep rolling out.
I just wouldn't count on it. I mean, that's the way. That's the way I would look at it. Say,
I agree with that.
I'm taking you for next year or something, and
yeah. No, I agree with that.
Man, I got a draft on starting Monday, and I'm the 8th pick. And I'd really like Travion Henderson to be there, but it probably ain't going to happen.
No, I don't think so. I got him at the 106 in this slow draft I'm in. I've seen him go in the 103, 104 range. So,
I don't understand why I don't know. Judkins, I'm just not buying him yet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get it.
I don't know.
I get it.
I'm not even sure. I'm going to pick Caleb. Oh, maybe I'm not going to pick him.
I mean, is Caleb Johnson going to outproduce what Najee's been doing the last?
Well, that's exactly my thoughts, and
he could.
Yeah, I doubt it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Najee was there every game. I don't care, and I know his numbers. His rookie year when Roethlisberger couldn't throw downfield, he had caught 70-some passes, and that made him really valuable.
Yeah. this is where I think the range of Dart should be at this 109 to like 201 range personally. So, it depends on your situation. If you need quarterbacks or not. Another sneaky little thing is like Daboll likes his quarterbacks to run the ball. He did it with Josh Allen, did it with Daniel Jones. Jackson Dart can run the ball. I think he had a year in college where he had over 500 or 600 yards rushing, which is really good. So he could be pretty good for fantasy if he's going to run the ball. Like, let's just say maybe not quite Daniel Jones a couple years ago level, which I think was like 700 yards, but he could get 500 to 600 yards, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think Tyler Warren falling a little bit is interesting. I think people just don't like the landing spot, right? They don't
spot with the quarterback. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Just
wasteland.
Uneasiness at the quarterback.
The wasteland.
Wasteland.
We'll go RJ Harvey here.
I think that's, yeah.
And then I believe let's go Luther Burden. Still believe in the talent. I know we talk about like crowded receiving room. If a guy is really good, something's going to happen. It's going to work out. Like, you don't just get like really, really talented players just not work out because of volume or mouths to feed issues. So could it be down a little bit year one? Sure. But Trey Harris, man, I'm not there. I agree. I'm not saying I disagree with it. Like, and I'm terrified of being wrong about him, but man, I just see, here's how I see the Chargers. You have Ladd McConkey. He's not out targeting Ladd McConkey, in my opinion. Chargers and Herbert targeted the tight ends. Herbert always targets his tight ends. He did it at a 21 or 22% rate last year. Tyler Conklin's there who, but you look at the last 4 years and the top tight ends in terms of targets and receptions and yards, you have the usual guys, Andrews, Kittles, Kelsey. Tyler Conklin's in that list. Like he had 3 straight years of like 87 targets, exactly 87 targets. So he's going to be involved, in my opinion. I don't know. I think they're going to run the ball over 500 times this year. Like, why wouldn't you with Najee and Omarion Hampton? So I just don't know. I don't know. What quarterback could I get if I trade Tet or Hunter? This is a pretty good question. I would say that's right around the 105 range, right? Tet, Hunter. If I could get Lawrence or Mayfield, I would do it. If I could get McCarthy or Penix, I would do it.
Look at Tootin.
Bayshall, Tootin. Yeah, so right around in there, maybe. Like, I probably wouldn't do it for guys like Purdy, Goff, Dak, Bryce Young, but I don't hate it if you really need a quarterback. So that's probably about as low as I would go. I don't think I would go on the Darnold range, or Justin Fields range. So that's kind of where I would land, I believe. Did you get sniped? Did you want Bayshall Tootin, or you're just commenting on?
No. It's just
to see him go that high.
Just interesting. I really didn't pay attention to the guy till he got drafted, and not as hard as I should. And then I start thinking about what's going on in Jacksonville. Bigsby and ETN, and I thought, okay, here's a chance.
He's definitely going to be involved. He reminds me a little bit of Bucky Irving. Obviously he's a lot faster, but I think he's definitely going to have a role, and I think he makes Bigsby a little bit kind of useless for fantasy personally. So I don't think Bigsby's that great of a running back, but yeah, Kyle Williams, man, I'm kind of all in on him, man. I'm really, really excited about Kyle Williams going to New England. I think the opportunity's there. Kyle, I like Besh too. They're in the same tier for me. So, but Kyle Williams to New England, I'm super excited about. I
Well,
just think he's a really
I
good
think
player.
Besh to the Raiders has got a good chance too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Tootin's off the board, Trey Harris. I'll make these picks here and then we'll get to some more of these comments. This is where I'd take a chance on like Jalen Knoll. I know he get drafted to Jaden Higgins and Knoll go to the same team, college teammates now, NFL teammates. I think there's a chance Jalen Knoll's just better than Jaden Higgins, and I wouldn't be shocked, So I'm gonna I feel like Higgins is gonna go a lot earlier. I would take him in this range, 210-ish, late second range, but I think he's going to go a lot earlier. I'm just going to take the discount on Knoll.
I think he's
I felt that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I felt that way about Jalen Polk and Javon Baker last year, and neither one of them hit. But I took the discount in Baker and had less invested in them. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I think Knoll is probably going to be in the slot, and that's where Tank Dell was. So,
yeah,
that's probably where the guy is going to, make his money and stuff. I like Taylor. Yeah. What is it? Maurice Taylor?
Mason
Taylor. Sorry. Yeah, to the Jets. I think that's a good player.
Yeah. See Devin Neal off the board. Devin Neal is interesting. He does go 6th round, but he goes to the Saints. Like he could very easily be the RB2, and they're not going to use Kamara 300 plus touches. So I'm out on Kendre Miller. Like the dude can't stay healthy, and he's had his opportunity, and he hasn't done anything with it. So like it could be Kamara and Devin Neal like 1-2 punch next year, even though he is a 6th round pick. I'm not the one.
Wasn't a coach talking smack about Kendre Miller last year?
Yeah, that was what's his face, the ex-head coach. I forget his name now. Now that he's gone.
Yeah, he said he's never there or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not the one to just discount someone like, oh, you're a 6th round pick, you can't be good. Like obviously I'm gonna I'm not gonna take a 7th rounder over a 1st round pick because that's just foolish. But I'm not necessarily one to just say like, nope, your 6th round pick can't happen. So sniped on Hunter. So Alex says he'd take him as early as the 102 or 103 if he doesn't need a quarterback. He's fine with taking Travis Hunter. I just think it's a fascinating, I like the Jarquez Hunter pick, by the way. I think it's a fascinating conversation with Hunter because like, man, if Jacksonville plays him 80% of the snaps on offense, then he probably should be the 102, 103 range, Travis Hunter. I'm skeptical if they're going to do that. I'm worried about the injury risk of him if he is playing more snaps than anyone in the NFL. And I'm also worried about, is he going to be able to work on being a better receiver? Because you can't get away with that. Your athleticism, you can get away with it in college. You can't get away with that in the NFL. You have to hone your craft. Is he going to have time to do both? So I'm really interested to see how it all works out. The one positive, I think, if they do determine it's not going to work out, I think they're going to use him as just a wide receiver and not just a cornerback. So you see Elijah Arroyo is a good pick. Yeah, these tight ends here, Mason Taylor, Terrence Ferguson, Arroyo, I have them in that order, but they're kind of all in the same tier to me, like they all are good tight ends. They all got top 50 draft capital. They all got on pretty good situations. Like Mason Taylor, like you mentioned, probably tight end 1 for the Jets, could be their number 2 target. Terrence Ferguson to the Rams. We know how the Rams are with offensive guys. Arroyo to Seattle. I think he's going to sneaky be like their vertical threat because they have Kupp and JSN to kind of work over the middle of the field. I think Arroyo might be like more of that vertical up the seam type of tight end. He was kind of like that in college, kind of a big play guy. So
he's in Miami, wasn't he, for Cam Ward?
Yeah, he didn't really do much until this last year. And his numbers aren't necessarily impressive, but he averaged like 18 yards per catch or something ridiculous, which is pretty really high for any player, but especially a tight end. We'll go ahead and take Milrow here. Jalen Royals. Man, I wish he went to a better spot, but we'll go ahead and grab Harold Fannin Jr. to Cleveland. When I'm drafting these tight ends in the 3rd round, I don't expect much from from year one, to be honest, but we'll go ahead and take him here. DJ Giddens off the board here as we enter the 4th round. And we'll talk about some of these later round picks. I think we've talked about these first round a lot. I am interested in talking about some of these later round picks, giving my thoughts about them and their potential and stuff like that. So we'll do that as the draft comes to an end here. We'll go ahead and take Isaac Tesla. Kind of a weird name. He has a capital S in the middle of it. So kind of funny. Kind of funny there. He should get sponsored by Tesla for sure. And we'll go ahead and we'll take a shot at Ollie Gordon. Why not?
Did you see the picture I just sent you of Amarian Hampton shaking Jim Harbaugh's hand?
I didn't get to it yet. No,
Okay.
I'll have to check it out.
Look how huge Harbaugh's not a small guy. And
No.
Amarian Hampton is huge.
Yeah, he's
Next
big.
to him. It's like, my God.
I'm excited for Marion Hampton.
That guy's going to be running some people over.
Yeah, for sure. So James says he's with you on Judkins, but he just picked him. Yeah, I think even if you are a little bit out on Judkins, like are skeptical, you still got to take him mid to late first round.
Yeah,
you
I'm sure
pass
if he's there at 8 and the, Henderson's gone, which I assume, and I don't know what to do between Judkins and let's say Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland. I don't know.
Yeah, tight end premium. You can go any way there, to be honest. So
yeah, it's 1 point. It's a PPR, then it's 1 point extra for the tight end. So
yeah, Daniel says he's going to split carries with Sampson. Big red flag. Yes, but remember, like Nick Chubb did the exact same thing, and Nick Chubb was awesome. Maybe Nick Chubb didn't have quite top 5 running back potential, but he was still awesome. So obviously, like, I'm not trying to say Judkins is as good as Chubb because I think we'd be foolish to think that. But, I think they could thrive, which is why I'm still kind of in on Sampson in this range of late second round. I have him ranked. I have Sampson ranked as my 21st rookie in a tier with Jaden Blue, Bashal Tootin, and Trey Harris, which is basically – you're on the clock, by the way, which is basically picks 21 through 24. So the end of the second round. Because I think –
Blue get picked already?
Who?
Did Jaden Blue get picked?
Oh, yeah. He's long gone at the 212. He's gone at the 212. Trey Harris's injury. Oh, yeah. Sorry. But to wrap that up, I'm still in on Sampson. Because look at what Kareem Hunt was doing with Nick Chubb, a prime Nick Chubb. He was still a low-end RB2. Plus the upside of, what if he gets hurt? What if the Judkins gets hurt or something? Yeah, the injury for Trey Harris was like a groin, if I remember, like a groin injury, hip groin. He missed a bunch of games, tried to come back, and then he like re-aggravated it. And then I think he just was done after that. His numbers were insane, man. He was on like if you love yards per route run, then you love Trey Harris because his yards per route run is absolutely, it's bonkers. Like a good yards per route run is over 3. Keep that in mind. Like anything over 3 is like elite. His yards per route run last year was 5.15 yards per route run. He was literally every route he ran, he was gaining 5 yards on average, like that's what that means. So now what I'll say about yards per route run is is it predictive or is it just players have a good yards per route run because they have a good season, or does a good yards per route run mean this player should have a good season? Like, I don't know if one like supersedes the other or not. So I think it's good to maybe find a little hidden gem or something, but I think it's more of like, hey, if you're just good, you're going to have a good yards per route run. I don't know if it's predictive of like good players necessarily, if that makes sense. Did Shador go off the board? I still think you got to take a shot on Shador at some point, right? Some sleepers here I put in my video. Kyle Monungai, drafted by the Bears, the only running back the Bears drafted. I know they're probably going to bring in like a Nick Chubb or something, but I'll take a shot on Guy, Kyle Monangai, because I don't think they're going to use DeAndre Swift and give him like 300 carries. So, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, drafted by the Commanders, another team we expected to take a running back and did not get drafted, they did not draft anyone until Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. So keep an eye on him as well. I think he's a good player. Brashard Smith is another one that I would have taken now that I'm looking, but I realized he didn't go off the board. I think he's going to be Jerick McKinnon for the Chiefs there. So yeah, that's what his injury was. It's not that I don't like Royals in Kansas City. I think he just, in order for Royals to be really like fantasy relevant, and again, I'm totally fine. I have Jalen Royals as my 31st player. So he's a mid third round pick, right? So right around, maybe a little bit earlier than where he went. I just think that Mahomes is going to have to return to that 5,000 yard, 40 touchdown type of level in order for Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Royals, their running backs, Kelsey, for all those guys to be relevant for fantasy. So it's not that I don't love it, but I just don't think. I think Rashee Rice is a better receiver. I think Worthy was a better prospect than Royals. So to me, it's like if those guys are healthy, third target at best. And Kansas City just hasn't been very good for fantasy, even though we have that perception of them. So do we think Jaden Blue will be available at the 204? I hope so.
Seems like
I hope so. I have him as my 22nd guy. So I think he should be a late second round pick. Again, he's in that tier with Dylan Sampson and Trey Harris. I think there's a good chance that Blue is Tony Pollard from a couple of years ago, which what I mean by that is like he's not the main guy, but he's going to give you, 200 touches, 180 touches this year. This is the potential if they don't bring anyone else in, like 180 to 200 touches with 40 plus catches, touchdowns. We'll see, but I'm really excited about Jaden Blue, to be honest. But who can they bring in? I mean, J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb. Is there anyone else really?
Well, they got
that's out there.
They brought Javonte and Miles Sanders.
Yeah, it's good news for Javonte. I think they're going to use him
I think he's going to have a fantasy value. He can kind of handle the majority of the load, and if he's splitting carries or something like that, that's good for everybody around. And it's not great in fantasy, but
yeah, no, you're right. Just with Sampson had gone to the Chiefs or any other team. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that I really hoped he had fallen to, but it is what it is. I think we kind of knew this was going to happen. I don't think we expected two of our favorite rookies to go on the same team, but we knew some of these guys, there was too many guys we liked for them to not fall on teams in bad situations. Like DJ Giddens. Did he even go in this draft? I drafted him. DJ Giddens, I'm a huge fan of DJ Giddens, but he goes 5th round to the Colts. And it's like, I have to knock him down a little bit just because there's no chance he out. If he goes to Jacksonville, okay, I can see a chance that he's just better than ETN. If he goes to the Giants, I can see that he could potentially be better than Tyrone Tracy. He's not better than Jonathan Taylor, right? Jonathan Taylor's a top 5-7 running back in this league. So it sucks because you're going to need a JT injury. But I do think they try and work him in a little bit. But we knew that was going to happen. We knew there was too many guys that we liked, too many running backs that we liked for them to all just fall into the perfect spot. But man, things change so much in the NFL. Like they just change so much. And so, because they're running backs, a Jarquez Hunter is another guy that I'm a big fan of. He goes to the Rams in the 4th round. I think that's very telling about Blake Corum. And I think we should be taking Jarquez Hunter kind of right around where we were taking Blake Corum last year. I forget where that was exactly, but I feel like he was like a late second round pick, early third round pick. So I'm a big fan of Jarquez Hunter on the Rams. I think he could beat out Corum. I'm not guaranteeing it. I think he could, and that's going to have a lot of value. The RB2 for the Rams, because if Kyren ever goes down, that's a huge thing there. What about a couple other guys I wanted to touch on? Well, how do you interpret the Titans? They took 2 wide receivers in the 4th round. They took Chimere Dike out of Florida, and then they took Alec Iomanner out of Stanford. Do you view those guys like, I'm going to take a shot on one of them kind of in the same range? Do you like one of them more than the other? Now, DK was picked first, I'll say that, but he feels a little bit more like a vertical threat guy. But, like, are you taking a stab on – I mean, that was the first wide receivers they took was
I think, didn't they also take a tight end?
They did later on.
Yeah.
Later on, but not very high.
I would take a chance. Ironmanner, didn't he burn Travis Hunter?
Yeah, he lit up Travis Hunter in college. Yeah.
I don't know if that means you draft him in a fantasy draft, but I know he was on Stanford and stuff like that. They're definitely going to have a chance there in the with the Titans. I know they just signed Tyler Lockett and Ridley and I don't know who the other leftover guy was. So, but one of those rookie receivers, yeah, I would take a chance on them.
Yeah, it was all in the 4th round. It was DK, Gunnar Helm, and Iomanner all in the 4th round. They went in that order. So I like Gunnar Helm. I think he probably should have been drafted as well, to be honest, because like Chigakonkwo, he's not a traditional tight end, and I don't think the team really values him for that reason. So I think Gunnar Helm could play more of that role.
And Gunnar Helm did not look good running the 40 at the combine.
Apparently he was hurt.
Yeah,
he hurt his ankle.
It didn't look right. It's like.
Appreciate you, Sean. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year for us, I think. It's going to be an exciting year, but now we got to it's kind of tough. This is once the draft and the rookie drafts kind of wear off, it's like, man, you got a couple months where you got to wait for some stuff to happen. I know we get mini camps and all that fun stuff, but Jaden Higgins or Dylan Sampson at the 209. So are you taking Jaden Higgins, who went 34th overall to the Texans, or are you taking Sampson, who went in the 4th round to the Browns? Who are you taking there?
Say that again, Higgins or who?
Jaden Higgins, so wide receiver. He went 34th overall to the Texans. We got stuff falling. Or Dylan Sampson, who went to the Browns. Who would you take?
Yeah, Higgins probably.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better bet. Let's see here. Where would I have them?
I tell you, the Texans, it's the same. Texans kind of redoing their whole wide receiver, besides Nico Collins and stuff, and Cleveland redid their whole backfield just about.
Yep.
Don't
forget Jerome Ford's still there.
Yeah, I know, but
he played well last year. He had averaged 5.4 yards per carry, which I was a little surprised. So yeah, Daniel, I have them actually Higgins 20th and Sampson 21st. So they're literally back to back, but I do have Higgins in a tier above. Higgins is the last my last guy in tier 5, and Sampson's my first guy in tier 6. So I would lean Higgins. But they brought in, obviously, they have Christian Kirk there. The Texans also drafted Jalen Noel, who we talked about in the 3rd round. So I don't hate it if you go Sampson. I would probably lean Higgins because it is the guy was the 34th overall pick. So essentially a 1st-round pick, right? And maybe the Texans thought he was a 1st-round pick. So, and you think a good quarterback there. Like, you think they have a good quarterback situation. We'll see. But I'd probably lean Jaden Higgins there. But I don't mind either one. Yeah, I don't mind either one. Some other late round guys that were in the video that I made or I posted it today. I think we talked about most of them. Will Howard, I think, is probably someone we should be picking up as long as Aaron Rodgers is not on the Steelers. Like, Steelers right now, it's Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and Will Howard, right? I don't know. There's a path there. Like, there's a very good chance if you draft Will Howard at the end of the 4th round in your rookie draft, as soon as he gets a start, which again, if Rodgers is not there, is a very good chance, you could sell him for more than what you just bought him for easily. So I'm not even saying like Will Howard's going to be good. I'm just talking about you'll be able to sell Will Howard for a lot more if he's announced the starter. A rookie quarterback announced as the starter. So he was in there. Who else? I put in Quinn Ewers. 7th. He went in the 7th round to the Dolphins, but there's a lot of guys who have value only because they have value right now, only because we thought they were going to go higher in the draft, and we've been hearing about their names. That's it. Has nothing to do with if they're good or not. A perfect example of that is Damian Martinez, right? He goes 7th round to the Seahawks, and people are going to still be in on Damian Martinez to a certain extent. There's going to be people in your league that are in on Damian Martinez. Quinn Ewers, it has value, right? I heard people on one of my live streams saying, oh, do you think Quinn Ewers is the quarterback for the Dolphins if Tua gets hurt? Why aren't we saying that about Cam Miller, 6th round to the Raiders if Geno Smith gets hurt? Because no one knows who Cam Miller is, and no one cares about Cam Miller. Sorry, even though he went earlier than Quinn Ewers. But the reason we're not saying that is because we all looked at mock drafts for the last 4 months, and Quinn Ewers was always in those mock drafts, usually in the 3rd, 4th round or something, right? So I would still pick him up because, again, something happens to Tua, you're probably going to be able to sell him for more than what you paid, and maybe even as an undrafted guy. Rashard Smith, I already talked about him. I think he's the next Jerick McKinnon. Corey Krosky-Merritt, talked about him to the Commanders. Kyle Monangai to the Bears. Khalil Mullings, the Michigan linebacker, converted to running back the last couple of years. He got drafted by the Titans in the 6th round or 5th round?
I thought.
6th round.
7th, yeah.
Middle of the 6th round. What I like about him is that he does something different than Pollard and Spears. Pollard and Spears feel a little bit like a carbon copy of each other. And so, like, Mullins is a big back. He's like 6'1", 230. He's probably drafted to play special teams because he's going to be good on kick coverage as a former linebacker. But he's maybe someone who do something a little different. Marcus Yarns out of Delaware. I don't mind grabbing Marcus Yarns. He gets undrafted to the Saints. So just like kind of what we were talking about with Devin Neal, 6th round to the Saints, you can kind of say the same thing for Marcus Yarns. Now, we're all going to lean Devin Neal because a lot of people love Devin Neal heading into the draft. But Marcus Yarns, I think he's an explosive kind of, change of pace type of back. So he's someone I would look at. Torrey Horton, who did get drafted here in this draft. Where did he go? He went 404. He's going to the Seahawks. And what I like about him is, 1, I think he's pretty good. But 2, he goes 5th round to the Seahawks. But 2, I think he's going to play on the outside. And the Seahawks have a bunch of slot guys, JSN and Cooper Kupp. I think Horton could have a role playing on the outside. Xavier Restrepo, he went undrafted. He's another guy where, like, there's going to be people that value Xavier Restrepo undrafted more than Arian Smith, who went 4th round to the Jets. Why? No one even knew who Arian Smith was. He wasn't on our boards. I think he went to Georgia, by the way, Arian Smith. But he wasn't on anyone's radar until he got drafted in the 4th round. Xavier Restrepo, early on in the process, was like a 2nd-round pick, right? And so he has more value than Arian Smith does, 4th round, than Jordan Watkins, drafted 4th round by the 49ers. What's the story you can tell about Restrepo? Oh, we thought he was better. He had a good year last year. He goes to Tennessee with a open wide receiver room behind Ridley, and he's reunited with Cam Ward. There's a story you can tell, and then Arande Gadsden was another guy there. So I know I kind of went on right there, but just some guys that, there's always players to pick up, throw on your taxi squad. Go ahead and dump some of the guys you've been holding on to for a year or two, hoping they're going to break out, the 49ers guys and things like that. So
Abanaconda,
Jacob Cowing for the 49ers, Xavier Weaver for Arizona, like these guys that I'm holding on to, Holker for the Saints. There's just a bunch of guys that and you just kind of reset it this year with these guys, because it's new, it's fresh, right? Treylon Burks. Is it time to drop Treylon Burks?
It's getting close.
I think yeah. Unless you're playing a pretty deal. I think it's time to drop Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm in that situation, so I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't think he plays this year. Yeah, Ryan Flournoy, Jaheim Bell. Yeah, these guys that we talked ourselves into. And all these guys that I'm talking about will probably turn into the 2026 version of Ryan Flournoy and Jaheim Bell. So, but you never know. It could be the Puka Nacua, right? Puka Nacua was an undrafted guy for a lot of people. So, Big Rice Ball here says, talking about rookies, which side do you like more? Do you like Emeka Egbuka and Travion Henderson? Emeka Egbuka plus Travion Henderson or BTJ or Amon-Ra?
Oh, well, that's an easy answer.
What?
Well, BTJ and Amon-Ra.
No, I think it's Egbuka and then either Travion Henderson or BTJ or Amon-Ra, if I'm reading that right. Let me know if I'm reading that right, Big Rice Ball. Like the BTJ is part of the Egbuka side. And if that's the case, it's definitely Egbuka BTJ over Amon-Ra. I would do that. Egbuka and Henderson. So you think BTJ and Amon-Ra are close in value right now? Yeah, they're basically probably in the same tier. So
yeah, I don't think so, but I'm biased.
Well, even if you don't think so, are you telling me you wouldn't take BTJ and Travion Henderson for Amon-Ra? Like you wouldn't take the 104 and BTJ?
No, I can't. Why would I take one of the top wide receivers and for one guy who's unproven, another guy who's only did it for a year. Sorry.
I mean,
Amon-Ra's got 4 years of production.
Yeah, but I mean, they weren't that far off last year, BTJ and Amon-Ra, a couple points per game, which is significant. But and then you're getting a guy that is the 104 potentially in this 103, 104 in
BTJ
the
could
rookie
turn
draft.
into Michael Thomas or something,
I mean, if he was Michael Thomas for 4 years, then I'm all in. Michael Thomas was awesome for 4 years.
Well, until he messed his ankle up.
I mean, so could Amon-Ra. I mean, the same thing is.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra can be that too. I think you got to take the player side. Abuka and Travion. I can see sticking to Amon-Ra, but if it's BTJ and one of those guys, I'm taking BTJ and one of those guys. Like, it's the same thing. Like, okay, so if it's not Amon-Ra, if it's Puka Nakua, what are you doing? So it's Puka instead of Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra, or
No,
I mean,
I'm saying Puka.
No, I would go BTJ.
So then, okay, so then we got to preface it. So it's more your Lions bias coming in.
Yes, I said it
in the process.
I said
Okay.
I'm biased, but how can I not? I mean, seriously, look at the production Amon-Ra gets.
Yeah, but I mean, BTJ and Travion Henderson will almost assuredly outproduce Amon-Ra each and every week. The two of those guys.
Yeah, but it takes two to replace one, and then.
Well, it's not even two to replace one. It's again, like BTJ was only 2 points less per game than Amon-Ra. So I think BTJ could, I'm not saying will be, I think he could be better than Amon-Ra in a couple of years. So, and that's nothing against Amon-Ra or anything, but we just gotta be honest with ourselves on how good BTJ was last year. Now he did do a lot of it without any target competition. So, but he also did it as a rookie, right? So,
yeah, which is I mean, it doesn't happen every year, that's for sure.
So you're on the clock at the 2:03, and you also have actually. Let me get to this real quick. So you guys are Amon-Ra, BTJ, Abuka. Oh, okay, so it's Amon-Ra or BTJ for Abuka and Henderson. Yeah, if that's what you're saying there, Rice Ball. If you're saying, okay, I get what you're saying now. So you're saying Abuka and Henderson for either BTJ or Amon-Ra. I'm fine with keeping the Amon-Ra, BTJ, or BTJ. I probably wouldn't trade. To me, those guys are worth probably more than 2 first-round picks. So, depending on the format, if you play in a shallow league, that's also important, Rice Ball. If you can tell us how many starters you have, like if you're playing in a 12-team start 8 or 9, it's pretty easy. I'm keeping either BTJ or Amon-Ra. If you play in a deeper league, like you're starting 12, 13 or something, I could see the argument for Abuka and Henderson, but I think I can get more for trading away Amon-Ra or BTJ. So James says you're on the clock at the 2:03, and you also have the 2:04. You already drafted Colston Loveland. Do you skip over Luther Burden? No, I probably, if he's the next on my board, I don't think I really approach the draft that way personally. Like, I'm not going to skip over Trav.
Yeah, just take who you think the best guys are, and if you've drafted Loveland and you got a chance to get Luther Burden, then you need to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't avoid Travis Hunter because I have BTJ or something, or I'm not going to avoid T. Higgins because I have Jamar Chase. So if he's truly what I think is the best player available, then I would probably still take Burden, and then because you can trade him away, whoever has more value. Would you guys ever take the 2 rookies not over BTJ or Amon-Ra?
No, I wouldn't.
Again, unless you play in a very deep league, and you can let us know if you do. But if you play most people play in 12 teams, start 8, 9, 10. People normally don't go deeper than that. I'm keeping those receivers.
I just look at it as the proven what's the proven commodity right now, Amon-Ra and BTJ. That's the way I just try to simplify it for me.
Yeah, you can't always look at it that way just because Amon-Ra was unproven at one point, and you say, oh, well, this player, Kenny Golladay, was proven, or you know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of project into the future a little bit, but I just think they're worth more personally. I'm not saying I would never trade them for unproven guys. I just think you could probably get 3 rookies, 3 first-round picks for those guys, especially in shallower leagues where really the only thing that wins you the league is the studs. Wide receiver 20 is not winning you the league. You need top 5 guys, which both those guys, Amon-Ra is and BTJ could be. So it's just I think you can get more. So do you think Judkins and Sampson could be something similar to what the Browns? Yeah, I've been talking about this. I do think it will be. I do think I just don't see the same coach, Stefanski. Like he had a prime Nick Chubb, probably the best pure runner, or in conversation, him and like Henry maybe, and maybe there's someone else I'm missing, but probably one of the best pure rushers in the entire NFL. And let's look at, I'm going to show you his Pro Football Reference page here. Like look at some of his big years. So 2019, he rushed for 1,500 yards, right? Look at his snap share here. This is actually pretty high, 70%. Okay. Now they bring in Kareem Hunt, and look at what happened to Chubb's snap share once Kareem Hunt comes in. So in 2020, Nick Chubb, I know he missed some time, but this is not including the games he missed. Just under 50% snap share. Now it'd probably be over if you it looks like he left the game early, so he'd probably be 52 or something. But he was literally being used 50-50 with Kareem Hunt. 2021, kind of the same thing here, 52.5%. Again, he has a game where he left early, he didn't play much, but still, it's not going to change it that much. 2022, Nick Chubb, 56%. Right? Even, and then I think he got hurt early on in 23 and then didn't play much in 24. So those years, those are prime Nick Chubb years, they were using him basically 50-50. So I do think it's going to be like that. I think Judkins, there's also a chance that Sampson's just better than Judkins. Like that's not out of the conversation. So the Kenny Galladay reference feels like forever ago. Yeah, it was a bad example. He's just the first guy that came.
Well, the Giants really got hosed on that one.
Yeah, the problem with him is that he went from Stafford, and that he wasn't a good receiver, but he wasn't a bad receiver. I don't think he was as bad as what he was on the Giants. Maybe attitude, all that other stuff. I don't know. But like he needed a quarterback that could actually get him the ball, and they had Daniel Jones. That was the issue mostly. Like I think he still could have had some good years. But yeah, he was more reliant on his quarterback. Do we think that do you think Tootin and LeQuint Allen replaced Etienne and Bigsby? So Tootin was the Virginia Tech, drafted 4th round by the Jags, and then LeQuint, I forget if it's LeQuint or LeQuint, goes 7th round to the Jags. I think that, would you think Mullins has a real chance to kick Spears? I added Cook. So I think that Tootin takes a lot of work away from Bigsby. I'm not sure about Allen, LeQuint Allen. I don't know if he's a 7th round pick. Like he could not even be on the team pretty easily. But I do think Tootin, I think he just makes Bigsby a little bit redundant. And I think it's one of Liam Cohen's guys. I think he wants to change this backfield a little bit. And Tootin's going to be the first piece of that. He probably still uses ETN quite a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. And, ETN's still going to get used. I don't know what he's going to be for fantasy. He's still going to get used. And then by 2026, we could be looking at Tootin and someone else they bring in or draft. So, yeah. But I don't know if they replace him year 1. I think Tootin could replace Bigsby year 1. So, Jordan Travis retires. Yeah. Sad. Bummer. He was having a good year. that year.
I don't
the
even
Florida
remember.
State team was good.
Was his injury an ACL?
No, I think it was like a broken leg.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
He never really healed. Never had
I think it was a bad one of those Alex Smith like ones,
your foot's turned 90 degrees or something.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But it is a good reminder that like not all injuries, like we always think these guys will come back in a year and they don't always do, Fields has a good deep ball and he's mobile, but he doesn't complete short down. It's not accurate. Is New York Jets a safe room quarterback wise? Adrian Martinez and I think it's Fields, and I think they're going to be competitive enough to Fields keeps that job basically the whole way, the whole season. The Brady Cook, the Missouri quarterback, yeah, he went to the Jets. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I would feel comfortable with Fields. I think Fields is going to be for fantasy top 10, maybe top 7 guy. And I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I think they're going to run the ball. They brought in offensive line help. They have a couple weapons there, so I think it's pretty safe. I would probably keep Tyrod Taylor on my team in a super flex league with enough roster spots.
Absolutely, as the number 2 quarterback there for the Jets, I would keep him.
Yeah. One quarterback, non-tight end premium, just traded away the 109, 307, and 26 second for Laporta and the 206. One quarterback. Okay, so you're probably looking at. It doesn't change too much in the first round. Yeah, I think it's fine. Non-tight end premium. Maybe I would have kept the 109, but Laporta is a good player. He's going to be a top 5 tight end. I'd be surprised if he's not. So, going into his 3rd year. Couple more questions here, and then we'll take off. James says, who are you eyeing at the 7 spot in non-tight end premium? If you don't like Judkins and you're in a deep rebuild, is it okay to take a Ibuka there? I would say at the 7 spot, I'm probably going to I would take Judkins if he was there. It's not that I don't like Judkins. It's not that I don't like him. So I would obviously take, Travion. I'm assuming Genty, Hampton, and Ward are gone. Travion's probably gone. Ted McMillan's probably gone. If Judkins is there, if Hunter's there, I would take them. Non-tight end premium, I would even think about. I'd probably take either Judkins or Hunter, assuming Ted and Travion are gone. So if you needed a quarterback, I don't mind Jackson Dart. So one of those 3 guys, I would say. In a deep rebuild is a good. If you're in a deep rebuild, yeah, I guess you could take Ibuka. I'd probably still lean Jackson Dart, to be honest, if it's super flex. Would you trade Fields in a 14-man team? Is he safe? I don't want a rental. I have the 201. Trade him for what, Marvin? What would you trade him for there? Because to me, Justin Fields is probably worth the 107, 108, to be completely honest. That's where I would have him. So if I'm trading, I'd maybe trade him for the 109, 110, but I wouldn't go much lower than that. Yep, Kittle got paid for sure. Cowboys still looking probably for their wide receiver. You say wide receiver 3. They might be looking for their wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Tolbert, nice story and stuff, but I don't know if he's up to snuff to be a wide receiver 2. Yeah, it's tough. Well, I don't know. Cowboys, I will say this, draft very well. They do draft very well. So that's why they're always winning 12 games.
They pay them. That's where they kind of get in this salary cap hell a little bit,
Yeah, but they do draft well, especially offensive linemen. That's who they took in the first round. So, but it is interesting. They didn't draft a running back. They didn't draft a wide receiver. Didn't draft a tight end. So you're looking at CDE is going to have 200 plus targets. It's my guess. Like, geez. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to be back tomorrow a little bit later, 9:30 Eastern. 6:30 Pacific, and we'll probably do another rookie draft. And I want to talk, now that we know where these guys are, I want to talk about these rookies and where they should be going in the startup range around what players they should be going around. So appreciate everyone, and we will see you. I would definitely sell Sealed. Yeah, I would sell him for the 107. 107, 108, I would sell him potentially. So, but I wouldn't sell him for much less than that. He's going to be a top 7 quarterback in fantasy next year. And so if he is, and he has potential to be top 5, if he is, he's potentially going to win you your league. So if I tell you, hey, this guy's going to be a huge part in winning you your league, you would trade the 107 no matter who it is, right? Even if it's just 1 year. So do you think Brees Hall plus Olave for Genti is a decent offer? I would keep Genti. Keep Genti. I'm just not excited about the Olave Saints situation. So it's close though. If it's a deeper starting league, Ryan, if you're starting 10, if you're starting 11, 12 people in your starting lineup, I could see the Brees side. But if it's like a start 8 or 9, it's pretty easy Genti for me. Just because the perceived value as well. People are super high on Genti. Brees Hall is kind of old news now. So appreciate everyone. Thank you, Marvin. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Join us. See you guys all then.